Hello and welcome to the latest instalment of Geeky Brummie's Comics Roundup. This week I'll be taking a look back at some of the comics that have come out over September. The first of my comics of the weeks for September was Wonder Twins #7 from DC's Wonder Comics imprint, written by Mark Russell with art by Stephen Byrne. I'm really enjoying this run of comics that are coming out from DC's Wonder imprint. It's telling a great story. It's fantastic news that it's been extended from a 6-issue run to a 12-issue run. There's some beautiful things going on there. The art is fantastic, Mark's writing is amazing, and this is possibly one of my favourite covers of this year. My next comic of the week was Once and Future #2 by Kieran Gillen and Dan Mora from Boom Studios. I'm really liking the reinterpretation of the Arthurian legend which is being presented in this comic, and I am quite taken by the fact that the lead character is a ginger-haired man with glasses, so I'm quite happy with what's going on there. Looking really forward to reading more of this series, and it was originally going to be a limited series but now it is going to be an ongoing at Boom, so high hopes for this in the future. My most recent comic of the week was New Mutants War Children #1 from Marvel's 80th anniversary line. This is written by Chris Claremont with art by Bill Sienkiewicz. This is a return to the halcyon days of New Mutants when these two guys were writing and drawing this fantastic series. This kind of takes place back in the original days of what's going on in New Mutants. Bill's art is phenomenal. Chris's writing is slightly hindered by the fact that this is just one issue. As you may know, Chris Claremont used to like to create very long and drawn out storylines, but as a return to the great days of the New Mutants, this is a fantastic comic and Bill's art is absolutely magnificent, so I highly recommend you pick this up if you can. Also out over September we had the latest issues of House of X and Powers of X. These are issues #5. This is the continuing reinvention of the X-Men universe by Jonathan Hickman. Art on here is by Pepe Larraz and RB Silva. I picked up these lovely kind of like Savage Land variant covers. Lots of interesting things going on, some really pivotal moments in there, and one of the most ridiculous mutant characters that were introduced a while back has been proven to be possibly one of the most significant X characters in existence, but I'm not going to spoil it. I definitely recommend you check out what's going on in Powers and House, so check them out. We also had Death's Head #3 from Marvel. This is by Tini Howard and Kai Zama. I love this series. More robot on robot antics, and I hope that Marvel have a success here, and I'd like to see more of the Marvel UK characters appear in the Marvel universe in the future. Mark Waid and Javier Rodriguez continue their history of the Marvel universe. This is issue 3, and what I've got to say is that the art is brilliant. I remember a lot of the stories that was going on here, but one of the best things about this series for me are the annotations in the back, which kind of tell you the history between or behind what's been going on in the comic, and there's an awful lot of information going on there. So if you kind of like your facts, this is the book for you. Over at DC we had Batman Universe #3 by Brian Michael Bendis and Nick Derrington. This continues to be possibly my favourite Bat book for a long time. Nick Garrington draws the pants off Batman. He is producing some phenomenal work here. I'm glad that these comics, which were originally printed in 100-page Walmart special editions in America, is getting to see the light of day over here, and this is a great book. So if you love Batman and you love Nick Garrington, definitely pick this up. I'm still continuing to enjoy Collapsa from DC's Young Animals imprint. This is by Mickey Way, Sean Simon and Elias Kourianis. I'm kind of liking what's going on here. There's a British tinge to this story. The art is beautiful, and I'm thinking that I'd like to see more of Collapsa going forwards, and I hope that the DC Young Animal imprint continues to bring us really interesting comics like this one. Dial H for Hero, number 7 from Sam Humphries and Joe Quinones, picks up from where the previous issue ran out, and I've just got to say that Joe's artwork here, where he kind of retells the origin stories of lots of the new heroes created by the Dial H with the appropriate art style for each, is wonderful. Great work going on in this book. Highly recommend it if you haven't it already. The Wonder Comics imprint is just phenomenal. Great for readers of all ages, so highly recommend you pick up Dial H for Hero. Moving into the independent books that came out in September, some of my recommendations are Steeple, number 1 from Dark Horse. This is by John Allison, who you may know from Giant Days. I love John's art style. It's really nice, and again, the benefits of this book for me is it takes place in a British Cornish village, so it's kind of a horror-tinged comedy kind of thing. I don't know really how to explain it, but I highly recommend you pick it up and give it a try. That's Steeple number 1. Over at IDW, they're continuing their Star Trek Year 5 adventures. This is issue 6. This is written by Jodie Hauser with art by Sylvia Califano. Some really interesting stuff going on here. I like the continuation of the Kirk, Spock, McCoy era of Star Trek, and that hits the nostalgia button right on the head, so give it a try. At Ahoy Comics, we've got Second Coming number 3 by Mark Russell and Richard Pace. Again, this is a book that I think the controversy that surrounded it has kind of misrepresented exactly what's going on here. It's a beautifully written story, saying a lot of things about what it takes to do good in the world and how difficult that is and what it really means to be able to do it. I highly recommend it if you haven't already picked it up already, so please ask your local comic store to pick it up today. From Image, we have Out of Darkness number 10. This is by John Laufman and Afu Chan, continuing the horror stories of the starship Charon. Beautiful art, great story. This really does let us in, gives us an insight into more of the regular characters here in Out of Darkness. We're heading into the last few issues of this first kind of 12 issues. Highly recommended, and if you haven't checked it out already, I really wish you would. Also from Image, we have Isola number 9. This is written by Brendan Fletcher, art by Carl Kirsch and Maastricht. A beautiful Studio Ghibli inspired comic, which is just a beautiful thing to read. It's mood and colour and feeling, and I really recommend this comic to people if you appreciate gorgeous art and beautiful storytelling, so please check out Isola. Then from Dynamite, I have issue 4 of Warlord of Mars Attacks by Jeff Parker and Dean Kotz. This is just pure indulgence. John Carter, Warlord of Mars, and the aliens from Mars Attacks, who speak English in this comic book, strangely enough. It's good fun. Dynamite's licensed characters, titles are really interesting. I've been enjoying things like Lone Ranger and $6 Million Man. But if you like a bit of fun read with some alien mayhem, then I definitely recommend you check out Warlord of Mars Attacks. So that was a quick roundup of the comics I've been looking at over September, and if you are looking to pick up comics in the Birmingham area, you can do so from the wonderful Worlds Apart Birmingham on Small Book Queensway. Just head up the stairs and you'll find the back issues and current comics up there. Don't forget you can check out the regular Geeky Brummie podcast on Saturdays, and you can pick those up from your podcasting service of choice. You can also check out more of our content on this YouTube channel. Please subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our future content. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Comics Roundup. So until then, bye.